Thank you for watching us on YouTube. But did you know that if you're on the go, you can get the full show as a podcast now? You can get our morning breakdown of the most important topics facing our country, news not being covered by the mainstream media, interviews with change-making progressives, and info on what you can actually do about all this. Search for The Damage Report on your favorite podcast app and subscribe so you know when new episodes are ready to go. You may not know this, but America and Canada are countries with some divisions along religious and racial grounds. It didn't start under Trump, it's actually been around for a while. And there's a movie coming out in less than a month now that addresses one of the historic legal religious divisions in Canada, our neighbor to the north. And we're joined now by Janel Parrish.
Hello.
Of the upcoming film Tiger. Very excited to have you in studio.
Thank you, thanks for having me.
So I'm excited, this is a movie based on a true story.
Yes.
A legal battle that happened in Canada. Can you tell us about the content of the movie?
Yes, absolutely. It's about Pardeep Nagra. He was a boxer, and because of his religious beliefs as a Sikh, he is not allowed to cut his hair. And he was banned from boxing due to a rule saying that all fighters had to be clean shaven. So it's about his fight to practice his religious beliefs and also do what he loves to do and continue boxing. So yeah, it's a really wonderful film about his voice and his fight, and I play his lawyer, and she's kind of a badass lawyer, and you know, has a big heart and kind of falls for his passion and helps him pursue his dream.
Yeah, we actually have a short clip we're gonna play in just a minute of your character, but I've been doing some research on this original story. So this happened back in the late 90s.
Yes.
And so I'm interested in the discrimination he faced, both the legal and the personal discrimination. So this court case developed because they said you either have to shave your beard or you can't box.
Yes.
Does this seem like, was this driven by the Federation's views? Was this a thing where some of the other boxers were complaining? I'm just curious how what seems like sort of arcane specific rules about facial hair become a thing that's applied to one person.
Well, I think in the film, I mean, I think that Prem Singh, who also wrote the film, spoke to Pardeep about this before he wrote about it. But I think that, you know, some of it was Pardeep feeling a little bit discriminated against as well, personally, as well as whatever this rule is. And he felt that, hey, if this is my religious belief and you know that this is important to me, why does this need to be so strictly enforced? Why can't it be something that is my right to practice if it is my religious belief?
Yeah.
And that kind of became his fight. And so, you know, I think the thing about Charlotte's character is that she loved how passionate he was to stand up for his beliefs.
Yeah, even though it means that he might have to give up his athletic career.
Yeah.
Which certainly has, you know, there's shades of that in what's going on right now.
But to stand up and fight and say, you know, I have a right to do this. I have a right to believe in my religion and still pursue this dream that I have, that I love to do.
Yeah. So your character represents him in court. We have a scene where you speak very eloquently about what's at stake in the case.
That was practiced.
That
was very hard.
Of course. Why don't we show a little bit of that?
Sure.
Battles over human rights have always been disagreements over seemingly intractable traditions. But if those traditions had never been challenged, then today, women would still not vote. Slavery and segregation would be rife, and those deemed to be different, institutionally ostracized. Is the ABC's clean shave rule prejudicial? Yes, it is. Simply, the ABC's regulation is unconstitutional. It violates Mr. Nagra's religious rights and the human rights of all practitioners of the 5th largest religion in the world. It must be amended.
So look, I'm gonna be real. I love any movie like this that takes on what can be a decisive, you know, social issue like this. I think in this particular case, it is interesting that you're dealing with a Sikh individual, because it certainly seems like, at least in America, perhaps not in Canada, that knowledge of that religion is fairly low. There's a lot of ignorance and all of that.
Sure.
So your character there, who's talking not only about this case, but about other instances where there's been discrimination, what made you interested in playing this sort of role?
Well, I loved that it was talking about, kind of touching on the fact that everybody has a right to use their voice, you know, to fight for what they believe in. What I loved about her character is that she really, truly is moved by his story and by his passion. And, you know, his fight kind of becomes her fight because of that. And I was really drawn to that.
So one sort of meta question around the making of this film is this is a an issue that people feel very strongly about. Obviously, I mean, at the time he experienced a great deal of discrimination, not just legally from the boxing associations, but you see in the trailer for the film, there's individuals who were bothering him constantly about it. At the same time, this movie comes out. Were you at all worried about any pushback against the content of the film as an actress when you're choosing roles? Is that something you're worried about?
Yeah, sometimes it is something that you think about, but for me, no. I was actually really proud to be a part of this narrative and this discussion, and you know, the message behind the film of, you know, why can't I have the same rights as everybody else?
Yeah, and it certainly didn't hurt that Mickey Rourke's in it.
I mean, that's also pretty awesome. It was very intimidating, but he was wonderful to work with.
Did you get any chance to, maybe not on camera, but behind the scenes, any boxing training, anything like that? I mean, you're around boxers constantly.
For me, no. You know what? The two boys that star in the film, Prem Singh and Mike Pugliese, they actually did train really hardcore in boxing, and they sort of invited me to come to the gym with them and spar, and I honestly was terrified. I was like, no, thank you. I'm scared. I am not athletic at all.
You know, it's funny because when I was doing research on you, I read that both of your parents were very athletically inclined.
Yes, they were bodybuilders.
Exactly, that's scary actually.
Yeah, I mean, when I look back at pictures, I'm like, Dad, you were terrifying. Yeah, and my mom was just like the most cut woman ever. No, it's super cool. And I mean, they taught me all about, you know, fitness and staying healthy, but as far as being athletic, that is a 0 for me. Yeah.
So this is Tiger. It's coming out November 2nd.
November 2nd, yeah, in select theaters, LA, New York, and Canada.
Awesome, and go take a look at the trailer. Very exciting. It gives a great sort of breakdown on how this court case develops, and you really get a sense of the passion of both your character, Charlotte, and also Pardeep as well.
Thank you.
So thank you for coming in. Very glad to talk to you about this. Thank you very much for watching this clip from The Damage Report. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and ring the bell on YouTube to get notifications of our new videos. And of course, you can catch the full Damage Report live every weekday at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on TYT Network on YouTube TV.